All right. Well, thank you very much for being here and checking out this conversation with DeLyzer. And to be frank, if you didn't hear our chat 3 months ago about a single Pretty Girls that has gone on to be streamed over 250,000 times. We used to live together many, many years ago. And further, that chat can be heard by going to youtube.com/whatwasthatradio. So with a new single out, let's discuss Cruel Summer and those next steps for DeLyzer. Again, thank you for being here and checking out whatwasthatradio.com. So where do you want to start in terms of Pretty Girls to Drama Queen and then Cruel Summer? We were texting the other day and you said, did you notice anything different with the artwork and that there was a theme in it? And I was like, oh, don't say any more because let's unpack it when we actually talk about this. So it's the same picture, but your eye colors are different. So how do you want to set the scene with this idea and this outlook?
Well, like it's like any band, I guess, when they're trying to figure out something, like the artwork and it had being consistent and everything. And I had kind of gone through a few different things. And my one buddy was just like, oh, you should just, because I have this like picture above my bed and it's like this kind of chromatopia, like wash of color. It's melted crayon. And I've always wanted that to be the album cover. I thought, well, it'd be cool for this photo, instead of having all this different artwork that kind of seems like disjointed and cool individually, I'll just take the one photo and the eye colors will change for each song. So it's like a different way that an artist or a person can see the world depending on their mind state, each song. So it kind of allows me to not be tied down to like a genre, because I can just be like, oh, well, that's the yellow version of me and then that's the green one, but I'm going to do one more and then be the album cover I just mentioned with blacked out eyes. And that's the whole concept. So Cruel Summer is yellow to go with the desert.
I like that. The shades of DeLyzer.
Yeah. So we went out, my wife and I went out to Death Valley to take all the photos out there on the sand dunes to go with the whole yellow theme. Cause on Instagram, I'm doing like, if it's red, I'm doing a whole 9-12 square block of red. And now we're doing yellow. And desert's yellow. So went out there, took a whole bunch of photos, and it's so cool out there, man. Only got 2 hotels, and it takes about 2 hours just to drive across, and there's no gas station. So we took my Jeep out there, and literally the first night we were out there, the hotel exploded. There was a massive explosion.
What?
Yeah, a propane line had leaked in the laundry room and blew off the whole wall of the laundry building. 4 people went to the hospital. All the windows got blown out. We're in like the middle of the desert. It was a pretty wild start to that. We got like evacuated, got to go back, and then we spent the whole day kind of walking around these sand dunes. It's also the lowest point in North America, so it's about 300 meters below sea level, something like that. And it's a cool salt basin, kind of like the Bolivian salt flats, where it's just miles and miles of salt, because when it does rain, all this water comes down into the valley and takes all these minerals down there. It has nowhere to go because it's the lowest point. So there's these giant like salt crystal formations. It's so cool. So we did all that. And then after a couple of days, we took 5,000 photos or whatever. And
jeez,
as we were coming back, there was a full on hailstorm in the desert.
What?
Yeah, full hailstorm. So my wife and I are in my Jeep, and I brought my guitar. So we had to pull over, get the guitar up front, and I had their suitcase in the back, and I have no top on the Jeep. So we're just getting hailed on in the desert. At like 6,000 feet. Like it sucks. Like I'm just freezing. An hour before we were super hot and sweating, and now we're just freezing in my Jeep trying to get anywhere, about 60 miles away from anything. So I had to do 60 miles just shivering. My wife's got my guitar on her lap. She's just covered in stuff trying to keep it dry.
Yeah.
It's where they shot Star Wars, a lot of it.
Right.
I know we've had some Star Wars talks before, so.
Oh, we have. There's lots in our book from way back when we used to write down the ridiculous quotes that we would say when we lived together.
Yeah, they're in the quote book.
And I'm afraid we can't share them, and we won't share them. Because some of them are quite naughty. Yeah. Oh, to be young. But to be in the desert and to have that happen, that is just... I'd like to Google it. How often, when does this happen? Hail in...
I don't know. We got to Mojave, and they were freaking out. All these cars pulled over, like a bunch of semis were jackknifed. It was like full on, like an inch of hail, quarter-sized pieces coming down. People were like trying to get under, the gas stations with the roof. They were trying to get under there and like hide. And I managed to sneak in there because my Jeep's pretty small, but we had to sit there for an hour. We were soaking wet.
Did you get any video or anything? I mean, probably not when you were driving because the focus was on just keeping the gear and your sanity intact. But
it was eyes ahead focused because my Jeep is not really meant for those kind of long drives anyway, never mind in hail. And I was just like freaking out, being like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
Okay. A quick Google suggests that it's only happened about 7 times in the last 15 years, but they're used to rain each year, but they're not used to hail.
We got destroyed.
What a cruel summer.
Kind of like, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
How have you...
That was the first song I ever wrote.
This was the first one you ever wrote?
Yeah, I ever wrote. I wrote it with Richard Craker, who's this killer producer from the UK, but he lives in Thailand, where he does a bunch of Thai pop, all that sort of stuff. I went out there for like 2 weeks a couple of years ago and met a bunch of great writers, but we were supposed to work out of Republic in LA and have this great artist, Jenna come in and do a session, and she just didn't show. So if she had have showed, I probably wouldn't have ever even started this project because I was really trepidatious about it all. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get back into an artist thing. And because she didn't show up and I had this beautiful studio all day with Richard, who's so good at what he does, I was like, well, I can't waste this day. Why don't we try something for me? And we just got super baked. And I don't know if you read some of the posts I've put out about this, but there's actually a horse sample in the track, a distorted horse. And we're not kidding about that. If you can hear it, then you'll get a prize.
Okay, sweet. No, I mean, as you know, I've been dealing with getting hacked the last week, so I haven't had access to social media bits and bobs. But there's a hidden horse, and I've not fucking heard it.
No, it's very hidden. I mean, you wouldn't notice it.
Oh,
but
gotta find
now
it.
that I know you're gonna know where it is.
Okay, all right. Well, no other further clues. That's amazing. That's my kind of detail. I love that context. Now, did you bring the horse into the studio, or did you get the sample from YouTube?
No, that's straight off YouTube. Run through a couple guitar amps.
Can you imagine Republic Records being like, why is there a fucking stallion in the lobby right now?
They probably had weirder shit in there, to be honest. You know, they probably had a lot weirder stuff in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I can say that now. I actually have a horse in one of my songs. I don't have to credit it, though, unfortunately.
Well, watch out. Like that monkey that took the selfie of itself, right?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it was huge. I would be lying beyond this point because I can't recall the exact details, but basically a camera was left in a jungle and this monkey came along and took a selfie that then became one of the most famous pictures in the world. There was arguing over who owns that copyright, because if you just left a camera there and the monkey took the picture, then the monkey took the great shot. You didn't take the shot, but the camera was there, but it was my camera. So who owns the camera and who owns the shot? The monkey does. The monkey does now. You know?
Damn, copyright laws for animals.
There's a monkey somewhere in a jungle smoking a cigar going, fucking showed them. Stupid humans.
That's awesome.
Anyway, Google that for the real story, but yeah.
Okay, I will do.
I interrupted you, though.
No, I have no idea what to talk about now. You go ahead.
You've just said there's a record coming. I thought we were going to do a bunch of single releases, maybe an EP. So to go back, I'm really glad that you spent that time in the studio and that he was susceptible to doing that collaboration and working on finding whatever it took, horse samples. I don't want to know what else you Googled, but great. I'm glad that came about and that you could learn and enjoy that experience to grow to this point. But where do you now then, from our conversations as these singles appear, where do you see this leading to? It seems that it's going to be a full-blown album or a 7-track EP, or what do you wish to share in this moment?
It's going to be 6 songs. I've got 2 more ready to go. And I mean, I don't know how much you get into the distribution of things. Basically, a song, once it's done, it takes about 6 weeks just for my distribution to put it out there, pitch it to playlists and everything. So basically today I'm uploading another one that will come out in 6 weeks, and then I'll have a 6-song album. So I'll do 1 more single, and then that'll be 4 singles, and then I'll drop 2 on the EP.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll change up the whole concept because, I don't know, I'll probably get bored by then.
And just out of interest, for those listening that are also creators like yourself and that are looking, okay, where do I release? How do I release? And you share what you want to share, but when you say it takes 6 weeks, talk us through, break down, simplify what that process means to you and those that are involved in it, if you've got others involved in helping move these things out. How can independent artists try and get on these playlists?
Yeah, I mean, be careful of anyone who promises you a playlist because it's usually botted and fake. I mean, there's a lot of people here in LA I've spoken with that actually do that for a living. All the major labels are doing it. They're botting playlists. So anyone who tries to tell you that you're going to, guaranteed if you pay them, it's usually bullshit. But to get your song out on all the DSPs, and DSPs are like Spotify, Apple, Tidal, Deezer, all that sort of stuff. You just need to go to a place like CD Baby, TuneCore. I use Repost by SoundCloud. So if you're a SoundCloud lover like I am, you upload the song, you input all the metadata, who wrote it, who produced it, all that sort of stuff, and they kind of take care of the rest for you. And the reason why you have to do it that far in advance, because if you want to pitch to the actual editorial playlists like Spotify and Apple, they need about a month, because if they don't have a month, they get so much music that it won't be considered. So it takes about a week for everything to get uploaded to all the different DSPs, and then from there, you can actually pitch through whatever company you choose directly to Spotify. Spotify is the easiest one because there's a thing called Spotify for Artists. And you can sign up for that as soon as you release your first song. And it has all like the analytics on there, who's listening where, which really, really helps. And on there, you can actually pitch directly to Spotify. I got lucky and got on a couple editorial playlists for the last song, Drama Queen. I have no idea about Cruel Summer yet. You just kind of, the song gets out and then you start seeing it pop up on playlists. So they'll notify you, but you don't know until it's on it. So they say that like there's no nepotism in all this. You can hire someone to help pitch it, but usually it doesn't matter. Unless you're like Ariana Grande and you're on one of the majors, you can have just as good of a chance as anyone else to get on there without having a manager or someone pushing your stuff.
Sweet. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it is very cool. And I remember you saying on the phone last week that some of your songs seem to have taken off in the dancing realm and over in Europe.
Yeah. I don't know how like honest I'm allowed to be, but one of my ultimate goals in life is just to walk into a strip club and hear my song being played. That's what I want in life. Like, I don't care about a lot of other things, but that would be so sick. So it's been cool because I had like a girl in Salt Lake City tag me in a TikTok video that was huge of her at like a strip club in Salt Lake City doing like a burlesque show. And I thought that was so cool. And then like a pole dancer in Austria was doing something to Drama Queen. And it was like the coolest fucking thing to see someone taking another art form, like, spinning around and doing all this crazy gymnastic stuff. And then the next thing for me to do is to walk into like a Vegas strip club one day and hear it, and have no idea that I'm there and just hear my song. That'd be so cool. But yeah, it's kind of spreading all over Europe right now, like to Russia, Germany, and getting a lot of listeners. I feel like both those countries like a little bit darker music. I don't know why.
Pretty Girls, over 200,000 people have streamed that. Will Cruel Summer get the same thing?
That's wild.
Hopefully, and time will tell.
It doesn't even feel real when I see 200,000 plays. I didn't really ever think I was going to get that amount, Like, the whole goal of this project was really just to pitch to TV shows and movies and kind of have like a creative outlet, and to have 200,000 people listen on just Spotify. It's like, it's mental.
All right, sweet. Well, I love you a lot, man, and I appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good, buddy. All right, bye.
Bye.